Hi. Hold on. Okay. I have to see what battery's at. Hello. I'm nervous even though I've been doing this. I'm not in my bedroom today because all of the children are out of the house. And that is beautiful. I don't think you can see it. Hi. How are you? But this side here of my face, it was completely swollen. I had an abscess or abscess, I think it's called in English, abscess, in my ear. And it went into some area and it caused an infection in my lymph nodes. So this whole side of my face was completely swollen, and it was swollen all back here, and everything was red here and here. So they kept me in the hospital for 2 days to get me on an IV, and then I was taking 300 milligrams of amoxicillin before and after the hospital stay. This is still swollen a little bit, and on the inside it's still swollen, and I still can't hear anything really. Like, everything is really muffled in this ear. So we're gonna give it 2 weeks, let the swelling go down a bit, let it heal, because the abscess popped. So I had a lot of nasty stuff going out of my ear. But in 2 weeks I'm gonna have like a hearing test done to make sure it didn't impair my hearing, because it was back there where the eardrum is at. So that was fun. I did enjoy my hospital stay though. I had a break from the children, so that was nice, even if, I got the break for health reasons. But yeah, overall it wasn't that bad. I don't see it as a I was sick thing. I see it more of the universe was telling me to slow down, and when I felt like I wasn't able to slow down, it made me slow the fuck down. Right? It's like, you need to take a break, Jenna. And I was like, well, I don't know. I got 3 kids and school's about to start, and I gotta do this and I gotta do that and I gotta do this. And then, yeah, the universe was like, no, we're gonna throw something at you so that you have to stop. So I did. Of course, I got out of the hospital and had to do a million things again right away because the kids started school and everything, but it's been okay. I just wanted to talk about manifesting real quick, because I woke up this morning and when I checked my phone, last night a friend of mine had been saying that she's having a hard time manifesting things, and then she wrote on her Facebook, she was writing about the stuff about spirituality and how she's understanding the oneness, right? That there is no good and evil because it's all one thing, and it's just spirit living its way, expressing itself through all of us. She's up right now, maybe she'll come on. But I told her that, understanding all of that, manifesting should really be easy. Now, she thinks that the reason, because when we're manifesting things, we're in alignment with thought and feeling, right? So if we say, I want to manifest something, and we feel that we already have it. Now, I really don't know how to explain this very well, because I've always been able to manifest even before I knew what it was. It didn't matter if I was in a low, dense vibration or if I was in a high vibration. I have always been able to manifest. One time I needed money, and I literally stepped on a $20 bill, just like that. I was just like, man, I really need some money for diapers, or I have to choose between diapers and something else that we needed. And I stepped on a $20 bill. I needed a new couch. Got a message, hey, I'm giving my couch away. Do you need a couch? Boom, got a couch. My car had a problem. I was like, shit, I need to manifest money for this car. I got money the next day. I even got an offer to buy a car off my friend, which we're working on right now unless I find something else. So manifesting has always been very easy for me. And yes, I do, it's like, okay, so I want something, I need something, I think about it, I'm in alignment with the feeling, or however you put it, and then I get it. But it's not necessarily like that, because I don't go around, like, I have an apartment, right? I have a big apartment. It's an old building. It has mold in it. Yeah. So, well, yeah, but I mean, if your soul is if you're in that lower density, they say that you're not in alignment. But if that's the experience that you're supposed to be having, like, I would manifest instantly when I was with the girls' dad. That's why I knew that I was supposed to be with him. Because even though the relationship itself would have really, really bad moments with abuse and everything, everything that we would need would always come to us. And that's how I knew that we were supposed to be together when we were together, because the big picture, the things around us, or the things that influenced us from the outside, came a lot easier to us. We both attracted a lot of abundance together, even though our relationship was a really low vibrational relationship. But I knew that I was supposed to be with him because of that instant manifestation. And back then I didn't know what manifesting was. I just knew that if I said I wanted something, I was going to get it within 28 to 48 hours, 24 to 48 hours. It didn't matter what it was. But also something that I've learned is, like, I'm living in this house and I have 2 families above me. When I was in the States, when I was preparing to move back to Germany, I told my family and God, I was like, I want a house with a yard with a fence. I want to have enough bedrooms so each child can have their own bedroom. And I want to have really cool neighbors. First house I moved into, it was a 2-story house with a fenced-in yard. The neighbors, when I first moved in, they seemed cool. The husband was really awesome. The wife, she was kind of weird. But I was also still very much healing and pregnant, and then just had a baby and healing some more, and depression and spiritual awakening and like all of that at once. So I wasn't really in a place mentally to really make friends with my neighbors. So they probably were really cool people. I just didn't realize it. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I'm about to get to, kind of, in that sense. So for me, what had happened was I manifested the house that I wanted. I manifested the house that I wanted, despite the fact that I was the most depressed I'd ever been in my life. I was suicidal. I did not want to be alive. The only reason I did not kill myself was because I was pregnant. So I manifested that house. And one of the neighbors, when I first moved in, she came and she brought gifts for me and the kids, and she was super sweet. So it's not that I was not in a friendly neighborhood. I was just not able to receive that friendliness yet. I wasn't open to receive the love that may have been there for me. So then when I manifested this apartment, again, I was like, I really hope I get some good neighbors. And the people who lived above me at the time were actually the ones who got me this place, because I knew D. I had been friends with him before I ever moved to the States. And for months, he was like, why don't you look at the apartment downstairs? And eventually I did. And I was like, okay, I'll talk to the landlord, see if she'll pay for a new floor, because the carpet in here was like 30 years old. And I kid you not, it was the most disgusting thing you've ever seen. So we did that, and I moved in here. And at first I was still going through the whole healing process and everything. I was still healing, and this was, I had my hysterectomy here and everything. And then after D and his wife moved, new neighbors moved in. And that's when I started to actually hang out with them and the ones all the way upstairs. These are the ones who, we got the garden with and everything, and the pool and the trampoline. Like, we all work together, and the upstairs neighbor, he does most of the work. his wife makes him do a lot of it. But like, we always hang out and everything, and we're like this little community. You know how people in the spiritual community, we talk about having communities where everybody, does what they can do to contribute, and they have a garden, and that's what we have. We are that community that the spiritual community talks about having one day as a whole. We have that already. So I manifested what I wanted. Now here's where I say, and it wasn't like I was like, I feel like I already have this. It was that I manifested it, but I was not prepared for it. I wasn't ready for it. I would not have been able to receive the love these people have to give had I not been doing enough healing first, right? And that's what happened in the old place. I had the house and I had the neighbors, but I wasn't open to receiving what they had to give yet, because I was not in the headspace. I was not emotionally available to make friends at the time. Even here, it took me over a year. My neighbor, she's like, yeah, it took you a real long time to actually come hang out with us. And I was like, yeah, man, I was going through some shit. And she's like, well, at least you're honest about that, But when it comes to manifesting, it's not necessarily the feeling of, I want a car, I'm going to manifest a car, I visualize I have the car. It's gratefulness. That is the key to manifestation, is gratefulness. Not only grateful for what you have, but grateful for what you will receive, right? So I manifest something that I don't have yet, but I'm already grateful, because I know that I will have it, because I know that I have it, just not on this timeline, right? Time has to catch up sometimes. And I learned this, some itching going on in there. I learned this through weird experiences that people would claim I'm insane for having. That's how I learned that time is fluid. So, and then there's because some people, they, like, I want to manifest $1 million. You don't need $1 million. You don't need $1 million. So why would you try to manifest $1 million? Now, if I needed $1 million to build a company to help other people, then the universe will provide a way for me to not necessarily have $1 million, but to have what I need to be able to build this company. But I have to put in the work. I can't just say, I want a company. I want a company where I can bring in my spiritual people and we can help we can help addicts and homeless people and children heal. And, I can't do that. Just say I want it and then just sit back and nothing happen. Right? No, I gotta put some kind of effort into it, whether that be writing my book or doing the lives and writing a blog just to show that I want to help people, right? So that would be my ultimate manifestation goal, is to have some sort of business where I can help people, along with the people that I've attracted so far, my soul tribe, right? We've all met each other, and like that would be like the ultimate manifestation right there, would be to have a company where we can all work together in these different areas of the world and set up bases and help other people. Right? That's what I started. This whole thing was about me helping other people with that goal in mind. So, but I don't worry about it. I don't think about, I need this much money to do that and this and that. I do what I can. I put out there, this is my ultimate goal. And whether or not it comes in the form of a business or just having more followers or just a book, or I have the seeds. I'm letting them grow, right? But I'm grateful, because I've already been able to help people. I'm grateful because I know that I will help more people. And I'm grateful because I know that whatever I really do need will be manifested. So if I want something, I'll probably manifest that, right? Because that's just where I'm at. I'm able to manifest like that. But I don't want a lot of things, right? So I feel like if we are in a good position, right? Like we have a functioning car, we have a safe and a nice place to live, and there's really nothing keeping us from evolving in the area that we're in. It's not a toxic place, something like that. And we want to get a new car just because we want a newer car, or we want to have a new, bigger house just because we want it. That's not going to manifest. Because if it's not going to serve a higher purpose for our evolving, then we're not going to get that, right? So for me, the first place that I manifested, I didn't manifest that place. And I see that now, I didn't understand it then, but I didn't manifest that place where I was isolated, because I was in an emotional, kind of place. Like I still had everything I wanted, but the reason I was put in that specific area was because I had to be isolated. I didn't have internet because something was up with the company, for a couple months. So I didn't have, I wasn't able to get on Facebook a lot. I didn't have a car for the first few months either. So I was really isolated, and I needed that, because it was during that period of isolation where I started to recognize that I needed to fix me. I needed to let all that pain come up. I needed to understand that, the girl's dad couldn't love me because I didn't love myself. So all of that stuff started to come up while I was in this isolation place. I was in this beautiful house where the kids had the whole upstairs to themselves. We had a basement, and then the upstairs, like you came in, there was a hallway, and then the kitchen, had a really nice big bathroom. I had my living room and my bedroom, and then you went upstairs and the kids had this huge open space, and then 2 rooms, and then the open space I was able to separate into 2 more rooms. So the kids had, a whole setup up there. They each had their own room, and then that one part I was going to turn into a living room for them, so they would have had their own living room. But I really just needed that place for the isolation, and I also feel that Spirit provided me that place to show me, you're going to get what you want. This is the house you asked for, right? So I came here, and the house that I asked for, I got it. And the landlord was really sweet, and she was working with me, and she understood my situation and everything. So I was shown, you can get what you want. by getting that house. But I was also put in a position of isolation where I was able to go within to figure things out, so that when I did manifest a new place, I would be open to be able to receive the full manifestation, which involved having a specific kind of community, right? So manifestation isn't just about what we want, it's about what we need. And like you said, it's about being in alignment. So if we try to manifest things just because we want it, yeah, I understand why somebody would want to manifest a bigger house or anything like that. Like, everybody wants to own a home. I don't want to own a home, not necessarily, because I feel like that's way too much work. I see how much money my family puts into the homes they bought, and I'm like, you know what? That's crazy. Like, I could just rent a home and then go travel and not spend, 10, 20 grand a year trying to upkeep a house. I could use that to go on vacations later on. So when I retire, I don't want to put all my money into a house I bought. I'd rather use it in travel. That's just me personally. Of course, if I had a lot of money, didn't have to worry about anything like that, then I'd buy a house, just that, have a house. So yeah, there it is. I thought there was something flying around. Manifestation isn't about what we want, it's about what we need. It's about that alignment. Again, the whole needing part, right? Because if we're in alignment and spirit says, well, yeah, they're going to need this for whatever reason, then we'll get it. But it's that gratefulness. Because if I get something, say I want to manifest something, right? Say I want to manifest a husband. Okay, I'm going to use that example. And I'm going into detail, right? Because they say go into detail about what you want. So I go into detail. I want this kind of look. I want this kind of eyes. I want this kind of height. I want this kind of body type. I want this kind of humor, intelligence, job, whatever. So then I might manifest a man into my life who might have most of these traits, but not all of them, right? And if I were very fixated on looks, which I'm not, but if that were the thing that I was really fixated on, and say he did not look the way I was wanting him to look, but he had all of those other traits, right? Instead of going, well, I don't want him because of those one or two things, I would be grateful that I had actually been able to manifest somebody that I wanted in my life with that much of what I wanted, right? So I wouldn't just push him away. I would still, be friends and see where it goes, because sometimes the physical attraction comes through knowing someone, right? So that's like one of those things, is we should be grateful even if we didn't get the whole tree, right? Sometimes we only get the seed and we got to plant it, and then things come from there, right? So that would be one of those things where if I'm not truly grateful for what I have manifested in the past, I'm not going to be able to manifest in the future. Because then I don't know how to put it. Hold on. I don't want to use the word greedy because it's not necessarily being greedy. There's a different word that I'm looking for. It's not picky either. Something in between those two, though. We have to be grateful for what we've already gotten. We have to be grateful for the ability to manifest anything at all, right? If you're trying to manifest $100 and you only get $10, well, you know what? 10 is better than is better than nothing. It's not 100, but if you're grateful for that 10, maybe next time you'll be able to manifest 20 or 30 bucks. Yeah, exactly. Breaking trust. It's like you have like these contracts, right, with the universe. You're like, okay, so, I want to have this thing, and then the universe is like, okay, cool. Well, I can't give you this whole thing, but I can give you something. And then you go, well, I don't want something. I want this whole thing. Well, that's just like if you're trying to give your children something, right? If my kid wants an LOL dollhouse for $400 and I go, fuck that, but I'll get you a Barbie house for $200, and then she goes, well, I don't want the Barbie house, I want the LOL house. Well, guess what? I'm going to take the Barbie house back. I'm going to spend that $200 on myself, and you ain't getting a dollhouse at all. That's pretty much how that works. And it makes complete sense, because the way that, we function as humans is the universe expressing itself. And if we as parents would not give our children something if they were not being grateful, and that's the universe working through us. I don't know if I'm really loud or not. I really can't hear it in this ear right now, and it just did some weird thing. So now it sounds even weirder, and I have no idea if I'm yelling. If I am, I apologize. I know that there's also an echo in here. This room is huge. And I got rid of some of my furniture, so now there's like a little bit of a sound thing going on. But yeah, if the universe is expressing itself through us, and we as parents work in that way, most of us at least, I would assume, that if our child is being ungrateful, we're not going to keep giving them something, right? We're not going to do that. That's spoiling the kid. So, okay. That would be how the universe works with us too. If we manifest, right, we ask the universe, the spirit, this is what I would like to have, this is what I need. And then we get what the universe can give us, or what we can attract with our frequency, because it's a frequency alignment as well. If I'm not in alignment with $100, I'm not going to get $100. That's just what it is. So we have to have that alignment, and we have to be grateful, because if we're not grateful for that 10, 20 that we got instead of that 100, and the universe is going to be like, well, you're kind of a bitch, right? So I don't want to give you anything right now. You know, it's lowering your vibration if you receive and you're not grateful. And I can say I'm grateful, but to genuinely be grateful, to feel grateful, to be in that state of gratefulness, that's a different thing. So I can go around and I can tell 50 people that I'm grateful for what I manifested, but if I'm not feeling that gratefulness, if I'm not in alignment with the frequency of gratefulness, then I'm not truly grateful. And that's going to show in my future manifestations or lack thereof. So, yeah, that's pretty much all it is. It's what you're in alignment with, what you need, whether you think it's a physical need or a spiritual need. If spirit is understanding this need, if this need is serving you on a specific level, you will manifest it. And it's not always going to be instant manifestation. Not everybody has that ability from the get-go. I don't really know what the whole, how all that works. I don't know. I've always been somebody to manifest very quickly. So I'm not sure how it is when it doesn't happen, honestly. If anybody has more experience from that side of the spectrum, feel free to share, because I don't know what that's like, honestly. Yeah, exactly. Divine timing. Yeah, for sure. I've noticed that too. Like with my car, right? My car, my friend, whenever my car, I was like, look, I don't know about my car. She was like, well, I wanted to get a new car so you can have my car and I'll sell it to you for really cheap, but you can make payments. And I was like, yeah, like for sure. That's awesome. And it's a smaller car than what I have now. With 3 kids, it'd be really tight, but it's a functioning car, right? So I was like, awesome. So I was grateful, and I am grateful. And then, time went on, and she got the brakes fixed, and she was going to get it to go through inspection, but then her engine light came on. They don't pass German inspection for cars is so hard, okay? You're not going to pass if you have too much rust. You're not going to pass if they check everything. What is on my finger? I don't know what that is. It's like skin. But yeah, so German inspections aren't like in the States. In the States, they're like, check your blinkers and hit your brakes, and they check your lights, and that's about it where I was at. But here, they check all this other stuff. So, but it's also a 2-year, it lasts for 2 years. But German cars also last a lot longer than most American cars, because they have inspections like that. They have to take care of their shit. Like, we can't drive around with duct tape on our cars. Sorry. Not going to happen in Germany. So, eventually, I very unexpectedly got enough money to where I might be able to get a bigger car. And right now I'm still looking, and I'm going to let my friend know that I'm looking. But that came unexpectedly, out of the blue. I was just like, oh snap, look at that. I manifested that out of the blue. So, that would be the universe showing me, hey, you have this option, but we're going to give you another option, right? We're going to give you another option. So now I'm in the process of, well, if there is another car that you want me to get, let me get it. If not, then I know that I can use that money, to put aside to save up for any repairs or anything that might be needed on the other car that I'll be getting. So, yeah, it's about being grateful. It's being grateful, and we can't just sit there and do nothing. We still have to do, some kind of something, right? Even if it's just being grateful. If that's the only thing you can do at the time, then that's all you can do, right? But it's just like with being a parent. Same concept. If the children are not grateful, the children will not receive anything. That's where I'm at, because my little girl, Kyrie, my 6-year-old, whenever we left the States, we came here, and I mean, she just got bombarded with gifts, right? Because the family had never met her. My sister had met her. She came to the States, but Kyrie was just a baby back then. But like, you know, grandma and grandpa and everybody, they never met her because I was in Missouri. So they got bombarded with gifts. And now Kyrie, being at that age, she was 3 years old. She turned 4 right after we got here. But she had just lost, you know, her dad and her friends and everything she knew, and she had to give up all her toys. And then she was getting gifts from, you know, parents, from me and from her grandparents and her aunt and uncle. And then, of course, I made the mistake at the time, and I was using gifts as a means to try to fill that fatherly void that came into her life, because he had from one day to the next stopped communicating with her, and that really, really tore her apart. From one day to the next, he just completely cut her out of his life. And I didn't know how to fix that. You know, I didn't know how to fix it. I was a mess myself. So I made the mistake of, you know, over-giving. And then the family was over-giving because, well, I mean, that's normal. You know, grandparents like to spoil the grandkids. But she had moved, immediately got a buttload of gifts. And then, well, like 4 days after we got here, it was her birthday. More gifts. 2 weeks after that was a German holiday, St. Nicholas Day. More gifts. 3 weeks after that, Christmas. More gifts, right? So when she got here, the first 2 months were of her just getting a buttload of gifts, whether it was a holiday or just because, hey, welcome to Germany, we bought you all the stuff because you have nothing. So she got really spoiled really quick. And I've been working on undoing that, which is not easy. It's not easy, but we're getting there. So, you know, with her, I really have to work on that whole be grateful and don't be a dick thing. So, and I mean, she is her father's daughter. She does have a lot from him. She does have a sense of entitlement, and she's very stubborn, very dramatic. So, nurture versus nature. That's a thing, for real, for real. Yeah. Me and my friends, we manifest things together. They're in the States. They're in different areas in the States, but we help each other manifest things for each other. And it works. It works. It doesn't always work exactly how we think. But no, she doesn't always think she's lucky to have me. I mean, she loves me, but sometimes she gets really mad. And then I explain things, and then she gets it. When I was in the hospital, she called me. She was like, Mommy, I was out looking for a gift for you. She went looking for feathers for me. She found one. She found a feather. Because, you know, the angels leave feathers for her. So she found a feather. She's like, look, a gift from an angel for you. So you feel better. I was like, oh, that's so sweet. So yeah. My son is a master manifester. He is 12 years old. He's going to be 13. God, he's going to be 13. Yeah. Can't believe that. Yeah, he's going to be 13. But he's a master manifester. And I just realized this recently. Like, one day he told me, hey, Mom, can we build one of those volcanoes? You know, the ones where they put the vinegar and the baking soda and the whole mess comes up, the paper mache ones or whatever. And I told him, I was like, if you want to build a volcano, we'll build a volcano. Hi. How are you? Deanna. I can't see nothing on the screen. I feel like get all up close to it. But he said he wanted to have like one of those volcano things. And I was like, well, I'm going to be 35. I told him, I was like, if you want that volcano thing, you can make it yourself, and then you can do it outside because I'm not cleaning that mess up. But yeah, the kids could make one. But we didn't get around to it. And then I think 2 days later, my mom comes over and she got him like, they had, you know how I have like magazines for kids? She got one of those, and in this magazine for kids, it had one of those little volcanoes. It had a little volcano where you could put the mixture in for it to do the volcanic effect. And my son, he was like, hey mom, look, a volcano. And I was like, didn't you just say you wanted to make a volcano that does that? And he was like, yeah, now I got one. It's small, but I got one. Like, he was grateful. And I realized in that moment, I was like, hold up, my kid is a manifester, right? Like, just like that. He said he wanted it and he got it. One day he said he wanted gummy bears. And it's really funny because anytime he says he wants something to me, my mom is the one who ends up bringing it to him. It's really funny. And she doesn't know that he's saying this stuff, right? She don't live in this house, so she wouldn't know. But it's really funny. It always goes through my ears and into her head somehow. One time he wanted gummy bears. She brought the gummy bears he wanted. Cake. He wanted a carrot cake. And I told him, because I'm not making a carrot cake from scratch, right? I was like, I don't have what I need here to make a carrot cake from scratch. And I don't remember, I want to say it was for Easter. But I mean, I made a cake, but I didn't make the carrot cake. And then my mom sends me a picture and she goes, I made carrot cake. And I was like, Josh, Mom made carrot cake, so you got your carrot cake. So my son, he is able to manifest. And he's at that age where gratefulness is not always a thing. I mean, he can be a real dick sometimes. But for the most part, he is in that alignment of gratefulness. Because Joshua does have enough memories going back to when we were in the States, when shit got really bad, and he understands what it was like to, you know, watch mommy not be able to provide the way she wanted to provide. And he still has that stuck in his head sometimes where he's like, well, Mom, what if this costs too much money? Because there are things, man, my kid put trash back there. Sneaky kids think they're being smart. It's in plain sight. You just gotta look. But yeah, so like he'll be like, oh, well, what if this is too much? And I'm like, if I'm telling you to get something, I'm not worried about the money. We're okay, you know? So yeah, I'm not going to spend $50 on shoes because, well, he got shoes a month ago and they're already too small. So I'm like, I'm not going to buy you these shoes for $50. You're going to get the $25 ones, especially because I have to get you 2 pairs of shoes because you need some new shoes, you know, for school too. So that's like stupid, right? That's stupid. That's not a smart investment for a kid who's growing 4 inches a month, right? So he's understanding what manifestation is because I explained it to him when I realized, oh, he's manifesting. I told him, you're manifesting things. And he was like, what's that? And I told him, I was like, it's part of your magic. One time we were sitting in the car at Burger King at the drive-thru, and we had both the windows open, and my car doesn't have an air conditioning unit. And this is one of the reasons, because this car is like a 95 or something. When I got that here, that was a huge gift because and it wasn't a gift I bought for it, but like the whole process of how it came to be was really cool. Because I really needed a car. I was a single mom in a town with no good bus routes, and I had 3 children, and I wasn't about to be able to take 3 children to doctor's appointments with taking a bus. It wasn't going to work that way. So, but it doesn't have AC. And it gets, 80, 90 degrees in Germany these days. And if you don't have an air conditioning unit in a car and you have a baby or a toddler in the back of a car seat, there were multiple times, not last year, but the year before when I was moving over here and I had to drive back and forth a lot and it's a 30-minute drive. There were times where I have to pull the car over and check if my baby was alive because she was in the back of the car in her car seat. And she'd be asleep, but she wouldn't look like she's breathing. She wouldn't respond if I touched her, if I tapped her, if Kyrie tried to, she wouldn't respond. And I would have to pull over in the middle of nowhere to make sure that she didn't overheat and die in the back seat. Like, it would freak me out. So, that's why I'm like, we need an AC in the car. But we were sitting at the drive-thru and we had the windows open. And this side here, my side was, mainly blocked by the, what's it called? Säule, where you order that thing, whatever it's called. And my son goes, man, it's hot. And I go, yeah, I know. And I go, hey, can we get some wind in here? Can we get a breeze? And as soon as I said that, we get a breeze going through the car. And my kids go, whoa, Mom, how'd you do that? And I was like, magic. And Josh goes, can I try? And I go, yeah, man, try it. And Josh goes, can we get another breeze, please? And then in that minute, another breeze goes from the other direction, coming from his direction. And he was like, what? So it's really cool to see how they actually get to watch it happen when I say something and it happens. Because yesterday, the day before yesterday, it was raining really bad. We had a storm and I was driving and there was lightning and Kyrie missed it. And I was like, oh, Kyrie, you missed the lightning. And she's like, I want to see more lightning. So I was like, okay, cool. So I said, hey, Thor, can we get lightning over there where those trees are over there in the horizon so that Kyrie can see it? Within 2 minutes, big old lightning bolt came right down where I had pointed at. Kids, how'd you do that? I was like, I don't know, man. Thor likes me. Like, stuff like that. So they get to witness what manifestation is through me, and then they're learning how to do it themselves. And Joshua, he's going to manifest amazing things one day. Because he's just really in tune as it is. He always has been. He's seen things. He hears things talking to him. And it would freak him out at first. It would freak him out. He'd be like, something called my name. And I couldn't even say he was lying because in that one specific part of the house, I will hear voices sometimes too. Like right in your ear. It's like somebody's whispering in your ear next to you. So he would freak out. In the old house that we lived in, my mom would see something in there. My sister would see it. My son would see it and he would feel it. So he was always been able to be really in tune with these energies around him. But he fears it, so I'm trying to get him to not fear it. And he also had night terrors and everything as a kid, so like there was a long non-sleeping period for this mommy. But I'm trying to just teach them, because like I don't talk too much about spirituality with the kids just because I want them to I want them to, you know, like I lead by example and I explain things when they ask, you know, like if I'm doing tarot or whatever, and Kyrie's like, you doing magic? I'm like, yeah, I'm doing magic. But I'm not pushing them on a path of enlightenment or anything like that. You know, I'm just, this is how I live my life. And if you want to do it like this, you can. But I want them to have the opportunity to choose their path. My dad, he forced me into Christianity. I didn't want to be a Christian when I was a kid. I never wanted to be a Christian. There was a short-lived phase. But even then, it didn't feel 100% right. You know, so I tell my kids, you know, if they ask me questions about spirituality or religion, I explain what I know. Otherwise, we do some research on whatever they're asking about. And I tell them, you can do whatever you want. You want to be Hindu, you want to be Christian, you want to be Muslim. I don't care. You can pick a path. And if you want to change it up after 5 years or 2 months or a week, whatever, you can do that. Like, I'm not forcing them into any type of spiritual or religious lifestyle. So I lead by example. I explain to them the same lessons that I learned and that I put on my blog, you know, don't be a dick, what purpose is, patience, control, all of that stuff, purpose, I said that, perspective, that was the one. You know, I teach them all of that because, not because it's a spiritual thing, but because it's common sense, things that we should know in life. So they get to learn a lot of the things that I didn't. And my son, he recently, we had an argument, and it wasn't even an argument. Like, I was trying to explain something, but then he was trying to explain his view, and he goes, oh, Mom, why can't you just see it from my perspective? Why can't you see it from the perspective of a 13-year-old boy? And I look at him, and I was like, I'm trying to, but I'm trying to also give you the perspective of a 35-year-old woman. So we had this whole thing, but he understood that, and he was using it. Yeah, they're learning. I try to teach them. Like, I make them, I started doing this thing where I would tell them, you know, to repeat after me. And Kyrie likes to do it. I'll say, I love me. And she goes, I love me. And I say, I am beautiful. I am fierce. I am powerful. I am magical. I am smart. And she will say all that. And she loves doing it. Joshua, when I first started doing that with him, when I told him to say, I love me, he couldn't say it. My son, he could barely say it. Like, he got tears in his eyes. And I was like, we're going to have to work on that. Now he can say it. So I'm trying to, because he's older and he witnessed a lot of shit. So I'm trying to break those cycles for him before he gets too stuck in too stuck in them. Yeah. And it's working. It's just, now we got the hormones kicking in. And every once in a while, he will drive me to a point where I'm like, I'm going to lose my shit. Somebody take this boy out of here before I go straight up Medea on him. I don't know if you know who Medea is. Diary of a Mad Black Woman. It's a movie from Tyler Perry. He actually is the one who plays Medea. But yeah, she's really funny. And you don't mess with her. You don't mess with her. So, but we're all working through it, This is my first experience in this lifetime having a teenage boy. And I know that the girls are going to be worse because Kyrie, she already acts like a little teenager sometimes. She rolled her eyes at me the other day. I said, hold up, what's that? That's new. No. No. I told her, I said, you roll your eyes at me again, I'm going to rip them out your head. She goes, you won't do that. I was like, yeah, I know. But still don't roll your eyes at me. Now, if I said that to Josh, he'd be like, oh my God, why would you want to take my eyes out of my head? Like, Joshua takes everything literally, which is weird because I've always been a very sarcastic person and I would always say really off the wall shit to him, but he always takes it like literal. One of the reasons we were doing the whole diagnostics thing for autism, but he's learning, figuring things out. He's a good kid. Everybody says he's a good kid, and then I'm like, why are you so much nicer at other people's houses than you are at home? But I used to be the same way. I would go to someone's house, and I'd be like the best behaved kid ever. I would clean their house. I would help them with things. I'd be nice and use my manners, and then at home, I'd not give a shit. So, I get it. But yeah, that's all. I gotta go to my grandma's house, take care of her. Before Kyrie gets out of school. I just thought I'd come on and do a quick live because my face isn't super swollen anymore. Like, there's just a little bit of swelling left around here. But yeah, it doesn't hurt as bad. Yesterday was the first time I was able to lay on the side like this again. I think I might have a picture I might be able to upload so y'all can see. It was bad. Like, I had a little bit of an earache, and I was like, okay, cool, earache, fine. And then that night, I woke up multiple times because it hurt really, really bad. And I have a super high pain tolerance. So I was like, this isn't good. And I went to the doctor, and he looked in there, and he was like, yeah, that's really bad infected. So let's give you some cream to put in there. Because it wasn't a middle ear infection. It was the ear canal. So I was like, okay, cool. And I put the cream in, and then the next day, the pain was even worse. Bye. So I called the doctor's office again and I was like, should I be getting, more pain? Like, is it going to get worse before it gets better? And she was like, no, you shouldn't have more pain. So I go in there and the swelling had already started. So he was like, you should go see an ENT, I believe it's called in English. And he said, keep using the cream, maybe, see how it goes over the weekend. But that same day, the pain was getting worse by the hour. So I called the office and they were like, yeah, come in today. So went in, the swelling was getting worse. Put like a gauze thingy in there with medication. And then I had to do that the next day. And then the third day was a Saturday. I had to go to the hospital in the morning because the doctor's office are closed and he was in the hospital. And he checked and he was like, so you can come back tomorrow and get another gauze and they're probably going to keep you here, or you can just stay here now and start the antibiotics in the IV now. And I was like, well, what's safer? And he said, if you start immediately. And I was like, well, then we'll do it immediately. So, I mean, what am I going to do? I'm not going to go home and be in more pain and risk, getting blood poisoning or some shit because I already had the redness starting to come up here. So, yeah, it was good. He was a good doctor. He's a really good doctor. And it's funny because I don't know if it was him, his brother, or his dad, but when I was a little girl, one of them took out my tonsils and my adenoids. And my sister's too. We had surgery there. So they actually still had my information in the computer from when I was a little girl. I was like, yeah, that was my maiden name. and like my military insurance. And I was like, yeah, I haven't had that since, wow, a really long time. So that was cool. But yeah, I'm good. I'm healthy. I feel fine. I'm just not able to hear very well in this ear. Manifestation, be in alignment with gratefulness. Biggest thing. It's not that we feel like we have it, it's that we're grateful that we have it, whether we have caught up to that timeline yet or not. Be grateful for the seeds, because the seed grows into a tree too. Sometimes the universe isn't just going to give you the box that you asked for. Sometimes it's going to give you the cardboard and instructions on how to fold it into the said box. I gotta go. All right, I love you guys. I don't know if I'm going to do another live this week or not. We'll see how it goes. I just wanted to come on here and talk to you guys for a bit. But I'm still going to try to take it slow for a little bit. Because the universe told me to take it slow when I didn't and ended up in the hospital. So I'm going to try to not overdo it. I'm going to keep editing my book. But I'll be around. All right. I love you guys. Take care. Love yourself. Manifest amazing things. Be grateful. Be grateful. Bye.